But to further shed light on all of this, just another way that you know that all this stuff about the drugs and everything else is BS. Here we have Juan Orlando Hernandez, former president of Honduras, indicted on drug trafficking and firearms charges, extradited to the United States from Honduras. This is from the U.S. Department of Justice website. And guess what we did with the big drug trafficking guy? And this guy had ties to El Chapo, you know what I mean? Like El Chapo Guzman, the big drug trafficker guy that we got and brought in. It was like a real big deal. Well, former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez freed from prison after Trump pardons drug trafficking conviction. Here we are. This is December 2nd. So just a couple days ago, while we're trying to wage a war against Maduro and Venezuela, we're letting this guy out of jail. We're letting him go back to Honduras. And apparently there's like this big election going on. I haven't had a chance to really dive into that, like what's going on with this Honduran election. But basically, this guy had ties to drug traffickers. For years, we allowed it to go on. And then I guess he got out of line. Maybe he didn't cooperate. And so we decided, we're going to put you in jail. Well, now maybe he's going to, serve some other purpose. And now we've decided to let him out of jail. And we're going to send him back. Here you got a tweet from Senator Bill Cassidy. He's a Republican from Louisiana. Says, why would we pardon this guy and then go after Maduro for running drugs in the United States? Lock up every drug runner. Don't understand why he's being pardoned. You don't understand it? You don't understand it? Well, let me help you out. They're all corrupt. They're all liars. And they're going to use people to for whatever they need them to. For whatever purpose that they need, this guy's going to do something, or they're using him in the elections down there. It's not about the drugs. They do not care about the drugs coming into the country. And you want to lock up every drug runner. How about we end the unconstitutional war on drugs, which has been an absolute failure? The war on drugs has been an absolute failure. Legalize everything and let people make the decisions for themselves. Stop trying to prevent, like, if people want to sit in their basement and do heroin all day until they die, by all means, go ahead. Do it. Do whatever you want to do. But stop trying to prevent people from doing what they want to do. And then the argument's always, then they go out and they commit crimes. And that's true. So when they commit a crime, arrest them for whatever crime they do. Or you have a Second Amendment. If they break into your house, exercise your Second Amendment right. But let's get rid of all these ridiculous drug laws, because guess what? It's a failure. People that want to use drugs will still use drugs. Just legalize it. Just legalize it. Let's get this over with. Because again, the government does not really care about the drugs. They don't really care about the well-being. But when they're illegal, they can prop up the prison industrial complex, keep people locked up that they want to, further waste all of your taxpayer money. And then also they can use it for what they're doing right now, trying to wage a war against a foreign sovereign nation, which we've been trying to coup for years. They tried to coup Hugo Chavez back in 2002 and assassinate him. And they've been ramping up the propaganda for 2 decades. Now it's coming back around. And they talk, more stuff with the cartels. Do you remember Operation Wide Receiver? Or if you're a Republican, you probably remember Operation Fast and Furious. See, the Republicans were up in arms about Operation Fast and Furious because Obama was allowing guns to be sold to all the drug cartels. And then one of those guns ended up being used to murder a Border Patrol agent, guy by the name of Brian Terry. Now, look that up. But see, the Republicans are Operation Fast and Fury. Obama's just a horrible president. Guess what? A couple years before that, Bush was doing Operation Wide Receiver. They were running guns to the cartels then. It's not about they don't care about the drugs. The drugs are going to come and go. They're just using them to make money and to put people in jail and to start wars. They don't care about. Look, here's an article from CBC News. This is going back when the New York Times released a story about Wally Karzai. So when we put when we went into Afghanistan, we put this guy Hamid Karzai into power. We made him the leader of Afghanistan. Well, his brother Wali Karzai was involved in the heroin game. He was selling heroin. And what happened right after we went into Afghanistan? Heroin became a much bigger problem in the United States than it was before. You know, not that heroin was ever not here, but seriously, can you really look at the past 2 decades and not say that after we went into Afghanistan, the heroin exploded? See, U.S. investigators spoke of 2 separate incidents in 2004 and 2006 linking Wali Karzai to drug trafficking, talking about how he was letting heroin shipments go through. And then it's estimated Afghanistan is the source of 92% of the world's opium supply. So there you go. It's not about the drugs. They just want to start a war. And you all have got to not support this. Speak up. Do not fall into this, like, oh, yeah, drugs are bad, so we need to start this war with Venezuela. That's what they're trying to do. And I get it. I don't like drugs either. I don't use drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. I'm about as straight edge as it can be. But that doesn't mean that you always hear the conservatives talk about, well, the difference between a conservative and a liberal. Conservatives don't want to ban everything they don't like. Like they say, how the liberals would want to, if they don't like guns, they want to take guns away. Well, that's what you're doing, okay? Conservatives, Christian conservatives, you don't like drugs, so you think that they should all be illegal. I get it. I think drugs are bad too, but legalize them. Who cares? And then they want to be like, oh no, that's going to be the end of your society. How about you just let it be, and then advocate to not use drugs, and hopefully people will make better choices. How about personal responsibility? How about doing the right thing? I don't know, but that's all I got for today. Just stay paying attention. Don't eat up this war propaganda. When you hear people talking about it that shut it down. Let them know, like, hey, no, this is not a good deal. We don't need to be doing this. We don't need to support intervention in Venezuela, and this is why. You can find the truth out there. It takes effort. You have to read multiple sources. You have to listen to multiple sources. And I get it. I know everybody's overwhelmed. I know that when you get free time, you don't want to spend hours reading and doing what seems like more work. But if you want to try to save the country, if you want, if you believe in a free country and not moving towards this authoritarian regime, which I see coming, whether it be with Trump or whoever follows him, more war is always going to mean less freedom. That's exactly what we got with the terror wars after 9/11. In order to win the war on terror, we got to take away your Bill of Rights. And everybody just went along with it. Now here we are. We're the frogs in the boiling water, and they're just turning it up, and people don't even notice. So that's it. Thanks for listening. If you want to, like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. Tell me you like it. Tell me you hate it. Any feedback is appreciated. Thank you. Have a good day.